Good day, everyone. Welcome to Journey of the Anointed with Mr. Buzz. Well, first, before I start this video, I want to say this. I am not a prophet, nor have I ever been a prophet, nor will I ever be a prophet. That is not one of my roles. Other people do that, and some are false prophets, some are real. I've got some information that came from someone who's a prophet, and in my opinion, it's good, solid information. So I'm going to share it here. But as I say, please don't think I'm claiming to be a prophet. I'm not. This came from elsewhere, and where this came from is pretty solid. So Jesus Christ's return, we're getting close. We're getting close. And the message is to be ready. So if you're one of the anointed, be ready. Now, to be quite honest, I don't even know fully what that entails, being ready. One thing I do know is God has put some extra effort into getting certain things out of me lately. And I think this is why. I think He wants things like my quickness to anger to be dealt with, to be out of me. He's really working on it hard, and He's been setting up situations where I would normally, get angry, and He's given me a chance to practice not being angry. He's really working me over, which I appreciate very much. Because when Jesus comes, you don't want to have any of that in your heart. When Jesus comes, you want to be purified. You want to be ready for His return. And I think that's the biggest part of being ready, is make sure all those things that you need to work on in yourself to be the best version of yourself you can be, make sure you got them dealt with. Make sure you're not still, it can be even tiny little things, like maybe when you tell somebody something, you embellish things. You're not fully honest. I've been guilty of that, embellish a little bit to make it sound a little more interesting. Now, I'm not talking about the stories I tell on here. Those I'm trying to be very, very honest and accurate with. But just in my daily life, sometimes just telling somebody something, maybe there's a little advantage in there for me, I think, if I embellish it a little bit. So I do. Could be something like that. Maybe it's, like in my case, the quickness to anger. That's a real big one. That was my biggest problem of all. Maybe it's, I don't know, an example from the past for me would be, I had a job where we had to write down our time on a sheet, and, they were just trusting us to be honest. Pretty much every one of us in that company cheated on time. we said we'd leave a little bit early, but we'd say we were there till the full time or something. We all did it. Everybody in the company did. Things like that. Anything you're doing that's not righteous has to be dealt with and has to be gone before Jesus gets here. In other words, what I'm saying is clean yourself up perfectly. Perfectly. Purify yourself. Repent of all these things. Stop doing them immediately. Tell only truth, nothing but absolute truth all the time. Mean what you say what you mean. Keep that anger. Anger is the worst thing to have in your heart. Keep that out of there. Keep it out of there at all costs. It's so important you do that. That one I know. God really spent a long time with me on that, because I was very quick to anger over so many things. I get frustrated very easily. And it's not a good quality at all. It's not righteous. It's the opposite of righteous. I got my phone today. It showed up. I opened it up. Of course, they sent me a broken phone. My first instinct was to get very angry. And then I thought, nope, I'm going to get a cockroach if I do that. So he sends a cockroach as soon as I commit an infraction. It's seconds, and there it is. So I kept myself calm in the face of all that. After all that work I did, and researching, and finally picked the phone and buy it and wait for it, and it comes. It's broken, and I got to send it back. That would frustrate you, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. But you don't want to get angry about it. That's the thing. And I didn't. I passed the test finally. I finally passed one that had to do with my quickness to anger. I passed the other ones pretty good. I was quite proud of myself. I was doing well. Except this one I couldn't get. But now I've successfully... Oh, and my cat too. My cat was a real... Oh, he was so annoying earlier. He gets that way. He's like a small child. They have their moments. 90% of the time he's great, and then all of a sudden he'll just kind of be a jerk for a little bit. Normally I get a little cranky with him, and I got to bark at him to get him to stop. Today I didn't. And I didn't get a cockroach. So, no cockroach. That suited me just fine. Whatever it is that you need to work on, definitely get it dealt with. Get the anger out of your heart. Get all forms of dishonesty out of you. Cleanliness. There's a big one. Make sure your surroundings are very clean. Of course, your body as well. Like you got to be clean too, but clean your house. Clean your house. Don't have Jesus show up and your house is dirty. Don't do that. I happen to know God likes clean. He sure does. Pray, fast. I'm going to fast for the first time ever. I'm starting right now, actually. I just decided about a half hour ago I'm going to fast. About 15 minutes ago, actually. More recent than that. So I ate this morning, and that's it. Now I've had this idea that I'm going to do this. The reason I haven't fasted is anytime I go more than like 4 or 5 hours without food, I get quite sick, actually. It doesn't agree with me to do so, and I'm a little concerned what's going to happen, but I'm going to try this. And fasting is apparently a very effective way to bring you even closer to God. And as close as I've managed to get, I want closer. So I'm going to try fasting. Hopefully that does what I've heard it does. And hopefully I won't get too sick. I can handle it. So I'm just going to allow myself a little bit of tea and lots of water. And that's it. Until tomorrow, when I wake up, I will break my fast then. Literally, that's what the word breakfast is, isn't it? To break your fast. Yeah, there's probably more that the prophecy, or it's not really a prophecy, but, well, it is. It's about Jesus coming very soon. I guess it's not even, it's the signs. There's all kinds of signs. I mean, I can see them myself. There's lots of signs. There's the heifer in Israel. There's a prophecy about a heifer, and there's the Euphrates River drying up, and there's all these different things. It's all occurring. It's all happening. I think it's pretty clear that we're definitely in end times, and I believe there is going to be a rapture. There's 144,000 who will be raptured. I don't know if those people know who they are, or if it's going to be as much of a surprise to them as anybody else. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who think they're part of that who aren't. And there's probably a lot of people who are part of that who have no idea. That's my guess. Or maybe all 144,000 know. I really don't know. They're going to be raptured and taken to heaven, literally. And I believe that's going to happen on the third day of darkness. So we have 3 days of darkness coming. And on the third day, that's when the rapture will happen. And during the 3 days of darkness, God's children are to stay indoors, and they will be protected with their pets and their loved ones, and everything will be fine. It's recommended don't look out the windows during that 3 days. There's going to be some things happening out there you don't want to see. Cover up your windows and stay in. It's quite overwhelming to think of all this stuff that's going to happen, and it is going to happen. There's been enough signs and wonders to tell us it's all real. It certainly is. So prepare the best you can. I don't think there's anybody who's able to fully prepare for what's coming, because I think it's more intense than any of us can really fathom in our minds. I think it's going to be a lot of death and destruction, actually. It is for sure. And the Lord is going to pour out his cup of wrath. And when he does that, it's more terrible than anybody can imagine. It's not good. So it's good to be one of his anointed and be one of his children. I'd be rather concerned if I was anything else, for sure. So prepare the best you can, and keep loving your hearts. Keep your focus on the Lord and Jesus. That's it. Pray, fast, pray some more. And remember that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings.